didn't want to do this at first because I was really nervous about getting out of my comfort zone. I did get out of my comfort zone, and I'm so happy I chose to. I was pushed to work harder and strive higher. Some of my friends had the wrong idea of Propel and were very negative about it. I feel very grateful to be here in the first place, and I believe I have an advantage over my peers with this program. I will always remember this semester because of all the amazing experiences I had, all the things I learned, and all the friendships I made. So for my project, I started up a youth council. If Joseph could please come up to explain.
Visually, let's go here. Alright, so my name is Joe Darcel. I'm going to talk to you tonight for a little bit, not too long, about who I am, what I do, and why I'm so excited for Julia to be here talking to you today about our project. So, first things first, by a show of hands, who knows what the Prime Minister's Youth Council is? Hey! Alright, for those of you who don't, you're about to find out. Alright? I am on the Prime Minister's Youth Council. I was fortunate enough to be chosen as part of the inaugural cohort of 16 young people earlier on in September, and we just welcomed the last 10 when we actually met up in Calgary this past week. Now, on the Youth Council, I have three main roles that I try and fill. The first is to provide an analysis for the government of existing policy concerning youth. The second is to bring forward policy, new policy ideas from youth in our community. So, not all the good ideas have to be mine, is what I'm trying to get at here, and most of them aren't. So that's the second thing. The third thing, which I try and do, is to use this as a platform to enable and empower young people within my community. Part of what I do outside of this role is work within the reserves as an instructor for the cadet program. And I'm a really big fan of that program, and it's taught me a little bit about developing people and how rewarding that can be. So when I found out from Adriano about this program and what its goals were, I felt that this represented an opportunity. I felt it represented an opportunity for me to reach out and to learn a little bit more about what it's like now to actually study at Nelson McIntyre. I'm a former alumni at this school, by the way. I suppose I'm still an alumni. And also to work with Julia to help her accomplish some of her own goals. So with that in mind, we worked on setting up a youth forum here in Winnipeg. We worked on the council, which she's going to tell you about. And I have to say it's been an extremely rewarding process for me and hopefully for her. So that's pretty much my end of things. Just wanted to give you a brief overview of what we've been doing. We've held meetings, we've run these forums, we've taken the notes, we've passed it on up the chain, and I think we've learned some stuff. Yeah. Take it away.
Okay, so I've always been interested in politics and social issues. My family sparked my interest. Usually at big family dinners, we talk about politics. When I was 11, I wanted to be a member of parliament. That was my dream job, actually. I followed politics very closely in the news, and I was very passionate about it, because as Canadians, we can decide what party we want in government, what beliefs we agree with, and if we don't like a certain policy, we can protest and say our own opinion. At the start, I was not sure what my project would be, and I was very nervous about this. One day in the morning, while reading the Lance, our local newspaper, I read about someone in our community was selected in the Prime Minister's Youth Council. I was immediately interested, because it sounded really exciting to be a part of that, and I had thought about applying myself. Mr. Magnifco wrote the article, and I was connected through Joseph Darcel through him. So the goal of my project from the beginning was to engage youth in our community and write a report on our findings from each meeting. This report would eventually be sent to the Prime Minister's office. To do this, I had to plan, organize, and run meetings once a month. Before I ran my first meeting, I saw Joseph run a meeting called Parlay Sessions, which was an opportunity for community leaders to connect and share their ideas on issues facing youth. That was a really good experience because I met a lot of interesting people from all walks of life. Each table had a different topic, like education, health, culture, and environment. Near the end of the night, we had a large group discussion about every topic. I ended up running 3 meetings, and Joseph came to 2 of them. At each meeting, I reviewed the previous meeting's topics. I learned from Joseph that every meeting has to move forward, and the people that attend will have to be assigned tasks following the meeting. I had no prior knowledge before that of how to run a meeting. A few weeks after that, I ran my own meeting. That was a big step in my project because at that point my project was still not very developed. I had a little idea of the things I discussed from parlay sessions, but I wasn't exactly sure what would come up. When I ran my first meeting, only 2 people came. 1 month later, when I ran my second meeting, 3 people showed up, although 6 people said they could come and did not show up. Fast forward to my third meeting, and I had 11 people attend, which was a huge improvement from the past few meetings. In our meetings, we came up with big picture ideas and changes we would like to be made. We also discussed smaller issues in our schools. These are some of the ideas we came up with. Having a social worker present on mental health issues, a mental health half day with speakers, a University of Manitoba speaker to come in and explain what exactly University 1 is, a 5-day work skills week in the English class here at Nelson Mac, possibly having youth employment services come in, and having a job site on the LRC website. I had to adapt during my meetings because I had to consider other people's viewpoints. During our discussion on education, an individual said that the school's curriculums should be harder and more strenuous. I personally disagree. It's hard to judge because it depends on the teacher you have. I talked about how I'm learning here and how I believe project-based learning is the future of education. I talked about how project-based learning will prepare students for real life because in my project I am running meetings, I'm meeting deadlines, and I'm making reports, and I'm learning about vast topics that will definitely help me in the future in the workforce. I learned things that were related to my project that I never expected. One evening, while talking to my mom about the shortage of affordable housing, she suggested that I learn more about it and bring awareness to the cause. My mom has been a social worker for more than 20 years, and she follows the news very closely, so she was very educated on this topic. So, together, we looked up facts about social housing to help me with my project. We found out the next day that the Social Planning Council in Winnipeg was having an annual report meeting. They only have it once a year, so I had to go. I really didn't know much about the issue, and I did not understand it. Josh Brandon, a community animator with the Social Planning Council in Winnipeg, presented this report. I learned that there is a huge shortage of housing units across the country, and it was affecting many people. Because of the affordable housing crisis, there were many families on the waiting list for an apartment. It isn't very sustainable because out of 8 units, there could be 1 unit with bed bugs. Since there is a shortage, this leads to overcrowding, which leads to sickness and poor health, academic difficulties for children, and sometimes substance abuse. The right to housing is an economic, social, and cultural right to adequate housing and shelter. It is recognized by the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. So I talked to Kate Keeler, who works for the John Howard Society, and he explained to me how this housing crisis is a huge problem for youth, which I did not know about. She explained to me that sometimes young adults who have been in foster care end up living in terrible living conditions because they could have had a difficult time growing up in foster care. They might not want help or guidance from workers in the government because of their bad experiences in the past. After this excursion, I thought about being a social worker myself, just like my mom. I had never felt that way before. In social work, there are so many different things you can do. I really admired the adults I met because they really wanted to make a difference in people's lives by advocating for affordable housing. The place that it was held was actually co-op housing mix, and it was very new, so there's hope. I think I have grown a lot with maturity with my project. I learned that being early and organized is extremely important. As Mr. Hansen says, there's no early. You're either on time or you're late. I have an embarrassing story, actually, related to this topic. For my first meeting, I made a huge mistake of walking to Safeway from school to pick up refreshments. My dad could have driven me, but for some reason, I decided to walk. So I walked there, I walked back, and I had to quickly scarf down my dinner and go. I was almost late for my first meeting. I wasn't late, but it was still close, and that was a huge wake-up call for me. So I decided to get food, and no one even ate it anyway. In preparation before meetings, I decided to send out a few emails and phone people up. I decided to do this on my own. No one told me what to do. The emailing was fine for me, but the phone calls made me nervous. I forced myself to get out of my comfort comfort zone and progress my project. Before my second meeting, I started to make phone calls. It was tricky because I didn't know what to say. I talked to quite a few people, and it helped me because more people attended because of that. In order to get more people out, I had to think of new ideas, so I did 2 quick 5-minute presentations to the grade 9 classes at our school. I pitched my meeting idea to them. It didn't hurt that they are currently doing a social studies project in Canadian government at the moment. It was successful since 10 of them came out. I'm interested in their opinions about government and what they would like changed. I also planned a trip to Windsor Park Collegiate to do a presentation there to the grade 12 students and the career internship program. It would be beneficial to them because in order to get their credit, they need a certain amount of volunteer hours. If they attend the meetings that I run, it counts as hours. During my meetings, I planned and created an agenda. Once the meeting began, I facilitated the discussion. I kept close track of the time because it was very important to me to finish a meeting on time, since the people that came had to bus all the way home. I had to make sure that the students were engaged. For example, if they were staring at the clock, that meant we had to change the topic and move on with the agenda. While running a meeting, I learned that you have to be observant with your attendees. Before the last meeting, I was a little bit worried about the turnout. I had already phoned up everyone, and not many people said they could make it. I wanted there to be enough people. And 10 of the grade 9s came, so I was very happy about that. I wasn't sure if they would even come, and I wasn't expecting many. I was proud of the grade 9s that came because it showed they were very involved in their school, and they cared about government, and they were also engaged. They were doing the total opposite of the young people's stereotype, which is lazy, unaware, and constantly on technology. In the past week, since we've gotten our yearbooks, in my mind I have been thinking of a quote that really stuck to me. It was, "If you choose to do what is easy, life will be hard. But if you choose to do what is hard, life will be easy." That really inspired me to push myself with my project. So what is the point anyway? Well, I wanted to make a difference in my community. I wanted to make sure that as youth, our voice is heard. This is really important to me because as youth, we are the future. Every important law that politicians make will affect youth down the road. All the consequences of previous generations will affect the youth. I wanted to get things done in my school community. Before, I was complaining about our school and the events and programs with our school. I figured out that instead of just sitting there waiting for other people to do something beneficial, I should make a difference and make the change myself. I wanted to have honest opinions from students during the meetings. I never expected that at the start I would be working with an individual in the Prime Minister's Youth Council. I'm so honored to work with Joseph for my project. On my refrigerator scared with pictures, magnets, permission forms, and other things, there is a mustard yellow note that says "Be grateful for every day." My mom put it there so our family would always remember to be grateful. One day I thought of my experiences in this semester in correlation with that note. When I see that note, I think about how grateful I am to be here. There are some days that were tough, and everyone had those days. In my opinion, those days pushed us to be a better person. Push harder with your projects and set goals. I will always remember Propel and all the things I learned. I didn't think that I would be working with someone in the Prime Minister's Youth Council, and I had no idea that I would have 11 people show up to a meeting that I was running. I really enjoyed this semester. I will always remember all the things I accomplished. I started up a youth council. I was organized through writing emails to get students out to attend. I made agendas, planned meetings, and planned things following the meetings. I made an important document for the Prime Minister's office about the issues facing youth in Winnipeg. I wanted to make a difference in my community by doing this. I turned words into action by doing my project. For my particular project, the plan is to continue until I graduate. I hope that my small project can have a large impact in the future.